Big boys don't cry. That sentence, I believe many of you heard at least once in your lifetime. Now, I remember the first time I heard it. That was back in kindergarten. I was playing in the backyard, and I accidentally fell on my knees. It hurt so bad. I began to cry. But suddenly, someone grabbed my hand. It was my kindergarten teacher, who pulled me at least 5 meters with my knees on the ground, repeating the sentence, "Big boys don't cry, big boys don't cry." Benedek, come on, get up, big boys don't cry. Since then, I've heard it so many times, they stopped even counting. It's such a pity that we don't consider the consequences of such sayings. Society expects us not to cry, even if it hurts so bad. Unfortunately, it could become one of your default built-in skills that you are not allowed to cry. As I was growing up, I turned to be a professional in faking my emotions. Once in high school, we had a football game, and my opponent slightly hit me. I wanted to convince the referee that I'm hurt, so he should give us a penalty. So I was pretending I'm hurt. I was lying on the floor, and even my teammate came to me and asked if I was all right. I was looking at him and said, "Give me a break. I'm just working on a penalty for our team." I was so professional. I was suffering so well until one very Thursday came into my life, 10 years back. I was having breakfast in our house in the early morning when my father came to me. Now, my father always called me by my nicknames. I had a lot in my childhood, except when he wanted to share something really serious with me. That time, he used my legal name with a different tone. So he turned to me and said, "Benedek, your mother has cancer." I continued my breakfast, kept on eating. I finished, packed my stuff to school, left the house. I attended to classes. I was doing sports in the afternoon, and I was studying. 2 weeks later, we had to tell a poem to our literature teacher by heart. And I was way over the deadline. And I wasn't the best student of my literature teacher. Anyway, I went to her room and knocked on the door. I entered. The room was silent, warm, with wooden furniture in it. I made a few steps as she was checking some papers at her desk and sat right in front of her. I started the poem. It went on pretty well until the second verse, where I stopped. And I just couldn't carry on. I started to cry. I was vulnerable. First time in my life, I knew that I am vulnerable. But on the other hand, I realized how I can help my mother to heal from such an illness. The next following period of our life was really strong and tough. And I decided the following. In the daytime, I was as positive as I could be to to my mother with a happy look on my face and designing her room up with colorful pictures and subjects, stuffs like that. And the pain I was facing at the daytime, I released the evenings. My mother was healing and getting healthier each and every day, every week and month, until she could go back to work. The first day she entered her workplace, her colleagues were giving compliments on her new hairstyle, and they were filling her in with the hottest gossips which were going around in the workplace. This period of my life taught me how to live through my emotions and release the pain if I feel like it, because that's a built-in skill for boys and for girls big time. 5 years passed, and all of my mother's medical records were negative. 5 years passed, and I'm still enjoying my accelerated emotions. Now, I felt myself always a good listener. But after all what happened, I can hear my friends out with genuine empathy. Lately, I found myself crying on a wonderful piece of music. And if anything happens, I'm staying positive as much as I can. And no matter what, I do not cheat anymore in sports. Unfortunately, there is one negative side of my sensitivity. I am capable of crying on sloppy cartoon movies and love stories from Hollywood. But I don't regret it at all, because tonight, here I stand, and I can tell you, big boys do cry.